Hola, buenas tardes. Eh, Muchas gracias por estar acá. Vamos a dar inicio a una de las partes más interesantes de nuestra programación en el festival. Esta es una parte que lamento terriblemente que tengamos un mundo pandémico, que no podamos viajar. Ahora recién estamos empezando a habilitar aeropuertos en Argentina, porque la verdad es que nuestra invitada de este momento es una de las primeras damas, bueno, una reina, porque respondiendo a su nación es una reina, es la reina, una de las reinas de la animación mundial. Para nosotros es un gran gusto, un honor y realmente es un sueño hecho realidad contar con la presencia, aunque sea virtual, de la señora Joanna Quinn. Joanna, muchísimas gracias por haber accedido a estar acá con nosotros en el ANIMA.
Muchas gracias para inviting me to Argentina. This is my first time in Argentina. Virtual Argentina. But yeah, no, thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you for allowing me to be on your jury as well and seeing all the lovely films.
Para nosotros es un placer es muy importante. Yo creo que por ahí no estás pendiente, pero en Argentina, en la comunidad de la animación, hemos tenido por mucho tiempo mucha influencia de algunos animadores, entre los cuales te encontrás vos. Tu obra acá en Argentina ha sido difundida mucho antes de la existencia de YouTube, así que para nosotros es fundamental encontrarte y lamentamos terriblemente, yo lamento terriblemente que no estés acá en Córdoba en este momento para poder aprovechar todos los momentos y que puedas vivir el festival un poco más desde lo que el festival es y transmite. Joanna, bueno, voy a hacer una pequeña presentación de Joanna. Yo tengo, por algún lado tengo todos mis papeles mezclados, pero por algún lado tengo la bio de Joanna para presentar. Voy a hacer una especie de síntesis, ¿no? Si bien todos conocemos a la obra de Joanna, bueno, Joanna ha ganado muchísimos premios con sus animaciones, estuvo 4 veces nominada a los premios BAFTA, al British Academy of Film and Television Arts, 3 veces a los premios Emmy y 2 veces a los premios Oscars. Ha recibido 4 doctorados honoris causa en el Reino Unido y ha sido también galardonada con becas honoríficas. Fue galardonada también con el Premio Internacional Animation Laureate en el 2014 y tiene una obra sumamente interesante, una obra que viene no únicamente desde la producción de animación más narrativa y clásica e independiente, todos conocemos a Beryl y sus aventuras, sino también desde la producción publicitaria. Bueno, sin más que añadir, porque la verdad es que la presencia de Joanna es lo importante, le cedo la palabra a nuestra invitada.
Muchas gracias. Okay, well, I'm going to speak in English porque mi español es terrible. So what I was going to do was just talk a little bit about my life in animation and start at the beginning when I was small, working up to now when I'm big, and show you some clips and some stuff in between. But if you've got any questions, Alejandro, you know, step in and ask me, and so we can have a discussion or whatever. So yeah, just to say, I'm based in the UK and I live in Cardiff in Pays de Galles, Pays de Galles in Wales, and we have a studio called Beryl Productions, and the studio is me and my partner Les, and Les and I have worked together for years, and Les basically writes the scripts and does the production, and I do the drawing and the direction. So it's a team. And of course, it's always a team when we're working on stuff. We always bring people in. So yeah, so we've got a studio. What I thought I'd do is just show you a little show reel, first of all, of some of the different clips of films that we've made and some commercials. So I'll start by doing that, but I've got to share my screen. So hang on a minute while I just press buttons. There we go. All right. And then I press the share button on here. Oh gosh, hang on a minute. Avert your eyes from my desktop. There we go. Okay, so I'm sharing the screen, share the sound, picture. There we go, make this full. And here we go.
My name is Beryl, yes, you all know me. I represent the girls on the assembly. So you think I'm just a fashion more me than Nazi, so I prove it to you now with...
Sorry about that.
Actually, it's quite messy. It's quite like my desktop background. So.
Okay, here we go. There we go. Correct desktop. And full screen. Here we go.
My name is Beryl, yes, you all know me. I represent the girls on assembly. So you think I'm just a party, but there's more to me than Nazi. So I prove it to you now with the greatest of ease. You better quit those sleeves so you burst into tears when you're beaten by a woman who is twice your years. They're gonna put you in your place and wipe the smile right off your face. And now it's time to see who gets the biggest cheers. What's up, little Vincy, cause you're gone all Lincy Wincy? Is the pace too much for you to bear? It looks a bit embarrassing for you, keeps harassing all the girls from up by here to down by there. My body is mine, so let me be skinny, fat, tall, or muscly. And I don't care what you think, cause when I'm stood you're in the pink, I'm proud of every pound and I don't want to shrink. So come on all you women, you got nothing to fear. Forget about your figures, body, beauty bodies, yeah!
There. So that was just like a little compilation of stuff that I've done. Yes. Okay. Sorry, I've got my notes here. Yeah, so I grew up in London, and I've as an only child for many years, so I just drew all the time because I was alone a lot of the time. And I was an obsessive drawer, and I used to draw and draw and draw. And I remember once drawing for my birthday when I was about 6, my mum bought me a little easel, and I remember drawing. I remember doing observational drawing, and I put it at the window, and I drew what was outside. It was the car, and I was drawing the car outside, and it was chalk. It was chalk, and so I drew on it, and I knew I had to rub it out, but I loved my drawing so much, and I thought, oh, I've got to rub it out, but I rubbed it out. And I think that was a really good lesson, because I didn't draw on paper at the beginning. I was drawing with chalk that I had to rub out all the time. So it made me less precious about my drawings. So, which is a bit like being an animator and doing thousands of drawings and trying not to be precious about one single drawing. So maybe that was a good little lesson in life for me going forward. Then I suppose my career started when I was 6, because I won a colouring competition. It was off a cereal packet on the back. I entered the competition, and I won. It was a drawing competition, and I won a kite to fly. And winning that prize just made me think, oh my God, this is fantastic. The world is my oyster. So yeah, I was hooked with art from that point on.
At a very young age.
Yes, it was a very young age. So it was a bit odd. And then I went to college, and I did a year foundation course at Goldsmiths, a college in London, and the foundation course in the UK. I don't know what it's like in Argentina, but you try everything, and it's a really wonderful, intensive year of education. And at the end of it, I decided that I'd done painting and all sorts of things. I decided perhaps I would do graphic design because I like doing comic strips and illustrations. So I went on a 3-year graphic design course at Middlesex University, which was, and it was wonderful. I just had such a fantastic time. And
so why did you choose graphic design instead of film or something, or art? You chose graphic design.
Yeah, I chose graphic design because I didn't really know about animation or film. It didn't occur to me. So I actually chose graphic design, but I remember thinking, I don't actually know what it means, but people were saying, do graphic design. So I was going, okay, but I had no idea really what I was choosing. So I chose graphic design, but I think at that time I was doing comic strips, and I think I thought that I wanted to do comic strips or illustration, but I also like photography. So it all sort of fitted together to do graphics. And when I got there and realized what graphic design was, I loved it, and had a really wonderful time. And one of the things that I did when I was there was a comic strip, and it was Girls' Night Out comic strip. So I'll just show you this picture. Hang on. Here we go. There we are. I'll share the screen. So this was, can you see that?
Yes, yeah? Yes.
Yeah. So this is the comic strip of Girls' Night Out, which I then turned into my graduation film. And one of the reasons that I did this, I remember, because I've been asked about it since, and it's made me think about it. When I was sitting alone as an only child, I would always draw men. All my characters were male characters. And it wasn't until I got to college and became more politicized and more learnt about feminism that I thought, why am I always drawing men? I know why, because it's societal, and I was drawing the generic person, but I decided I'd make a real effort to try and draw women. And so that's why I did this comic strip called Girls' Night Out, and I forced myself to draw women. And in doing that, it made me more interested about the women's lives. Being a woman and drawing women made me want to delve into their characters more. And not just surface, because I think I was more drawing males to do with the body and just anatomy, but drawing women, I wanted to find out about their stories. So I did that, and then this, of course, was the 1980s, and I looked like that.
Wow.
So that was me looking mean and grumpy in the 1980s.
Sort of punk.
Yes. So anyway, when I was at college and I was doing all my comic strips, we were introduced to animation. It was given as a short like project, and as soon as we were given this project, a light went off, and I thought, animation, it's perfect, because I was such a drawer, drawing all the time. And you've got to do so many drawings in animation that I just thought, this is perfect for me, So everybody else was moaning about how many drawings they had to do. And I was going, that's fantastic. I'll do even more than you need. So I made a couple of little films in the first year. And then I decided to make Girls' Night Out as my graduation film in the final thing, because by that point I was completely hooked and wanted to make it. And I think the thing that really excited me about animation, or about animation filmmaking, was because it combined my drawing, which I was obsessed with doing, but also telling stories and trying to make people laugh, because I've always been the classroom joker. Because I wasn't very good at maths and other subjects, I was the person who used to deflect the teacher's attention by making people laugh so they wouldn't notice how stupid I was. So so being able to be in a room, and when I played my first little film that I made in the first year and played it and people laughed and loved it, it was like winning that kite with the colouring in competition when I was 6 or 5. And I had that same, oh, this is wonderful, this is great, I love this, this is my life.
Wow.
And
it's so fantastic to know that your film started as a student project, you know, because Girls' Night Out the characters in Girls' Night Out are so enjoyable, not only because you have fun with them, not about them, you know, because you empathize with Beryl. So it's really wonderful to discover that kind of humor in animation.
Yes,
which is not the slapstick and the usual humor in animation.
Yeah, well, I think as well at the time, because I was on a graphic design course and not an animation course, there were no other animators around. And so nobody was like talking about the technique that I was using or any, it was all about ideas, you know, and whether it made people laugh or not. And so it was quite good because people were looking at it with the fresh pair of eyes and commenting on it and saying, why did you do that? You know, but whereas an animator perhaps would comment differently, you know, about a film. And of course, so I just made this film, and because I didn't really know about the world of animation, I was just making the film to make my peers laugh and for myself to enjoy the drawing. So it was just a film of total enjoyment, I think. And then I finished college, and because the film wasn't completely finished, it was done, but it wasn't. It was my graduation film, but it still needed a little bit of work. But then I put it to one side because I still needed to pay for rent and things like that. So for a year, I did illustration work, you know, for magazines and books and publications like that. Meanwhile, I was just trying to finish off the film because it just needed some more colouring. And so eventually I finished it. And then I entered it for a film festival that somebody had told me about, which of course was Annecy. And I'd never heard of Annecy. And so I went, okay. So I just sent it off and it got in. And then I went to my first film festival, which was Annecy and Annecy. And I just thought, oh my God, I thought I was the only one. And look, there's all these people making animated films. So it was really lovely, you know, and that again, I just thought, these people are so lovely, because animators generally are really nice people. And suddenly I felt that, you know, I'd found my home with all these really creative people. And of course, the thing I realized sitting in a theatre watching all this animation was that it was such a broad art form. You know, before I had just thought of cartoons. And then, of course, I went to Annecy and saw all these amazing films from all over the world done in all these different techniques. And I was just blown away. It was just fantastic. And then the film won 3 prizes, which was like even more, I just thought, I don't get it, you know. And
so
of course,
this is
one
the
of the
place
things,
I should be.
Pardon?
This is the place I should be.
I should definitely be here. Yes, definitely. Yeah. But one of the things that surprised me was, and made me think about the responsibility of being a filmmaker, was that I had made the film for myself. And then when I went to a film festival, I realized that when you make a film, you're actually not making it for yourself. You're making it for an audience. You know, ultimately, it's for an audience to watch. And you do have a sort of responsibility, therefore, you know, and you have to be able to explain why you've done certain things, because people ask lots of questions, you know, and you have to really discuss your film in a way that I didn't expect. And a lot of people felt, a lot of men questioned the film and thought I was anti-male in it, you know, and so I had these really surprising discussions with people, and I was saying, do you really think that? And they said, oh yes, looking at your film. So it was a big learning curve.
Era otra, voy a hablar en español para que Evangelina me interprete, porque por ahí es más fácil para mí, por supuesto, pero era otra época, ¿no? Era otra mirada y tal vez no era, creo que de por sí es una película muy feminista, ¿no? Donde de repente se subvierte ese orden donde la mujer está objetificada, acá el hombre es el objeto y a su vez es como que es un objeto sin mucho sustento, como termina la película.
Yeah, and I suppose the thing that I realized was that where I made the film, in college in London, it was multicultural. It was quite political at the time. Of course, the film was being shown to people from completely different countries, you know, with completely different situations. And that really helped me as well understand that, because I then went on to be on juries and to select films from other countries. And it stopped me from dismissing certain films and saying, oh, that's just really sexist, or that's really racist, or that's really, because then you had to think, hang on a minute, where's this come from? It doesn't mean that the person is, you know, it's a cultural thing. And so it's quite complicated, isn't it? You know, like where things come from and the influences of the culture that you live in. So that's why I was so surprised by a lot of the reaction to Girls' Night Out, because to me it seemed normal, you know, because that was where I came from. But what it meant was that the film did really well, which was a big surprise. And then we got some money to make more. People like the character Beryl, and so we got some money to write another film. So Les wrote the script for Body Beautiful, which was the next Beryl film. And then years later, we made another Beryl film, and that was Dreams and Desires, Family Ties. And we just finished, literally this year, the fourth Beryl film. And that's called Affairs of the Art, which hopefully will be in your festival next year, maybe. That'd be nice.
Hopefully.
And then I can come. And
yeah.
Yeah, so we've now done 4 Beryl films, all based on a character that I created at college, you know, aged 19 or something crazy. But I think the character, people really, particularly women, you know, really like the character of Beryl because she's a strong woman and she's a sort of anti-heroine, putting up with stuff, but she's optimistic. And so
sí, Beryl es siempre Beryl es muy optimista y es también una persona que no se preocupa mucho de lo que piensan los demás, tal vez, ¿no? Es como que ella tiene una idea y va en función de esa idea. No es que sea desconsiderada para nada, sino que es decidida.
Yeah, good. I've got some artwork here. So
a verlo, queremos ver.
These are some of the original cells from Girls' Night Out. So that's that.
¿Cómo fue el proceso de producción de Girls' Night Out? ¿Todo lo dibujaste vos sola o después de salir de la universidad?
Yes, everything was, I drew. Yeah, everything was drawn by myself. So, and then I used cell, so it was all drawn on the cell, and then I painted on the back in the traditional way. And then I shot it on the camera. So I learned how to use the camera. I did everything. And And there was one time when I filmed the scene where she says goodbye and there's flashing lights from the television, and it was very complicated, and I had cells here and I put them there, and it took me a whole week to film this one scene. And I finished and I went, yes, and I almost scrunched up the cells because I was so glad I had finished. And then I realized that the lens cap had been shut all week.
Oh.
So I had to film it all again and iron out the cells because they'd all gone crinkly, you know. And
son las dificultades que tenía la animación en cine, ¿no? Esos problemas, errores técnicos que por ahí uno está tan concentrado en el desarrollo de la animación que después decir, no, esa latencia que tenía el ver la película yes. Mucho tiempo después de haberla hecho, ¿no? Que los animadores nuevos ya no la conocen, no sufren de esa forma.
No. This is the stripper. Just trying to get him in the right light there. Again.
We can see it, yeah.
So that was all painted like that.
You know, esto es una de las cosas, me doy cuenta que tal vez nos viene bien la pandemia, porque como estás en tu casa, nos podés mostrar eso que tenés en tu hogar, y muy probablemente no lo llevas a un festival. Así que, bien, nos viene bien. Esto es uno de los puntos buenos.
Yes, 1 point to Zoom.
Yeah.
And the next film, shall I show clips of the films, or do people know them, or is it better?
No, we want to watch them. We want to watch them.
You want to watch? Shall I show the clip of Girls' Night Out for people who haven't seen it? It's only 40 seconds rather than the whole film.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. I'll just show you a quick clip of that. Here we go. Hang on a minute. All right, put that down there. Share the screen, make sure it's the right screen. Share the sound, there we go. And full screen. That's all you get.
Are you very critical? ¿Sos muy crítica de tu trabajo? Porque recién cuando estábamos viendo y te veía como concentrada. Digo, ¿qué estará pensando, no? Esa cosa de mostrar el trabajo, compartirlo con alguien y bueno, ¿qué piensa el otro? Me pregunto, ¿sos muy crítica?
Highly critical. Yes, I find this is fine to watch because it's so far away, but I yes, very, very, very critical. I can always, I suppose that's, most artists are critical because that's what makes you want to do more. Otherwise you go, that's it, I can't do any better. I'll just knit for the rest of my life. You know, I mean, you want to carry on and make another film to improve, I think, you know. And then the next film, I'll show a clip of the next film. And this was called Body Beautiful. And in this film, Beryl in Girls' Night Out was working in a cake factory. And now it becomes an electronic factory. And so there are like televisions and things like that in it. And she becomes the union rep. So she has to deal with all the difficulties. And one of them is a sexist worker called Vince, who's terrible and teases all the women. And so they're trying to make her do something, and she doesn't know what to do because she's so nice, you know. So so this is a clip. This is a clip of the end sequence of Body Beautiful, I think. And I will play that. Here we go. I'll just move it over there. Share the screen. And full.
Final contestant, Vincent Fossa from Otto Vincent. Ladies and gentlemen, Debbie, re-entering the contest.
My name is Beryl, yes, you all know me. I represent the girls on assembly. So you think I'm just a party, but there's more to me than that. So I prove it to you now with the greatest of ease. You better quit those tears, for you're bursting your tears when you're beaten by a woman who is twice your years. They're gonna put you in your place and wipe the smile right off your face. And now it's time to see you get the biggest cheers. What's up, little Vincy, cause you're gone all Lincy Wincy? Is the pace too much for you to bear? It looks a bit embarrassing for you who keeps harassing all the girls from up by here to down by there. My body is mine, so let me be skinny, fat, tall, or muscly. And I don't care what you think, cause when I'm stood you're in the pink. I'm proud of every pound and I don't want to shrink. So come on all you women, you got nothing to fear. Forget about your figures, body, beauty bodies, yeah!
Gentlemen, most beautiful body belong to Beryl Thomas. Oh, the body lady. That's my Beryl.
So she ends up beating Vince at his own game, which is bodybuilding. So yeah. So while we were, because I think what happens is when you make these films and then people see your work, you end up being asked to do things. And so up until that point, I think we'd only ever done our own work, but then we were starting to be asked to do things. So the first commission that I ever did was with Didier Brunner. You know Didier, the wonderful producer. And yeah. He approached me and asked me if I would like to be part of a project called Cabaret, and it was with some other filmmakers, basically to be shown at a Toulouse-Lautrec exhibition in Paris alongside the exhibition. And each of the animators would do a piece of animation based on something by Toulouse-Lautrec. And initially I said, oh yes, please, that would be lovely. But then I was meant to be working on something else. And so I said to Didier, I don't think I can do it because it clashes. And he said, oh, well, never mind. And so then the other thing fell through. This happens all the time in animation. The other thing fell through. And so I went back to Didier and I said, can I do it? I can do it now. And he said, but we haven't got very long. And I said, don't worry, I'll do it very quickly. And so then I thought, how can I do it? Which is one of the things that commissions make you do, because with a commission, you haven't got very long to do it. And you've got your deadline. And so you end up working backwards from the deadline and working out what you can do and how you can do it to try and achieve what you want to achieve. So it's a different thing to making a film that you come up with the idea and you say, this is going to take me this long and this is the budget. You know, it's much more reactive. You know, you're just trying to work out how to do it. And so what I thought was, I know I could make it like Toulouse-Lautrec sketchbook. So it's not much color. It's all just hand drawn and keep it terribly simple. And so that's what we did. And the film is called L, and basically it's based on one of his drawings, paintings, like a pastel piece of art of two women reclining. And I did it about their lunch break. So I wanted to give the characters, his models, a little bit more character and give them personality. So he goes out and then they have their lunch, and then we hear him come back, and then they get back into position. So, and then I did it all in the time. It was like, woo. So I'll show you that, and it's called L, and it's only 3 minutes long. So I'll show you that, and it's all just drawn on paper. Okay, where is it? It's here. All right, so I'll open that. That's the other thing animators do. They talk to themselves all the time and make sound effects.
Yeah, because you're alone so long.
I know. I'm just pulling this open. See, we make sound effects like that. And then I share the screen. Here we go. There.
Yeah.
And I'll make, let me just, yeah. And then I'll make it full screen. There we are.
Café?
That's awesome.
I really enjoyed working on that. It was such a treat to do. I like to work to a deadline and just being able to draw.
¿Trabajaste también sola o tuviste colaboración para hacer intermedios? O...
with the writing, Didier, because it was a commission, Didier asked me to work with a French writer, Hortense Guimard.
Pero respecto a la animación en sí, ¿tuviste algún in-between?
I think I did it all. I think I...
Wow.
Yeah, I think I did it all. I can't really remember because I did most of it when I was in Spain, and I went to Spain and I didn't have a line tester, and I had about 3 months, to do it. And so for the first time ever, I actually started to observe the action before I animated it, because I couldn't test the animation. I had to do all of the actions before I animated it. So all of those movements I had done in front of a mirror, or I'd asked Les to do. And so I've got lots of sketchbooks with little notes and drawings. And then I would work out my key drawings based on my observational drawings. And then I animated it all and brought it back to the UK, and I tested it all, and it all worked. I didn't have to change anything. And so again, another big learning thing was that you have to do your observation and be critical about the movement before you animate, not after you've animated and then change it, so it's like make all those decisions early and then you don't have to change your drawings. Never thought of that. Yeah. So I've got some of the drawings here. So it was just done on photocopy paper that you get from any shop, and I just had a punch, and so I punched the holes myself. This is the sequence of the so it's just 4B or 3B pencil. And this is another one. Then she undoes her lunch. Things like drawing hands, undoing a knot, are really, it's really quite complicated unless you really observe it and see where the changes of direction is. And then once you understand the movement, it's easy to animate it, but it's really just understanding what you're doing before you start and breaking all of the action down into da-dum, 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 so you can work from one to another, to another, to another, rather than being overwhelmed by the whole movement, so it's like breaking everything down into manageable portions.
Claro, of course.
Sí. So, and then, well, how are we for time? Oh, we got 15 minutes.
We're doing good. We're doing good. We're doing great.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody has anything else to do today, so don't worry about the time.
Okay. All right. So then I will go on to the next commission that we were asked to do, and that was Britannia, and a producer at the BBC who used to work at the BBC wanted to make a film about the image of Britannia. So, and it was I can't remember how it all came about, but he asked me to make the film, so he was the producer, and so we made that film. So basically we had to do the film about British imperialism, sum up the whole of British imperialism in 5 minutes. So it was really hard. So the storyboard for that took about a year or even longer to make, because it was just so hard to do, because there was so much in it. And so it ended up being a process of, it was this big, down until it was the bare skeleton, of what you were trying to say. And it was very interesting, because Colin Thomas suggested that we took the storyboard, because we were stuck. We didn't know what to do. He suggested we took it to Steve Bell, who's a political cartoonist here in Britain, is fantastic. And of course, it was a really good idea, because being a political cartoonist and just doing one picture, he has to sum up all these ideas in one frame. So it was a very clever idea to take our storyboard to him, for him to have a look at and tell us what. And he was terrific. And I gave him my enormous storyboard, which was, I don't know about that fat. It wasn't that fat, but it was quite, and he went, no. And then he took all the pages away until there were like 2, you know, and I went, huh? And he said, this is the idea. This is the idea here. You can add things onto it, but this is the main idea. And he was right, you know, and I thought, of course, he's right. And so I think that's how when you approach something that's such a big, complex idea, it's just really trying to find the nucleus, you know, the bit in the middle, that everything else hangs on. Once you've found that, it becomes easier to do. So we use the British bulldog as to represent, I suppose, imperialism and Britain. And so I will show you that. So this is. I'll show you the whole thing because it's just 5 minutes. Oh, I just got a clip. Should I just show a clip, or would you like to see?
Sure, no problem.
I'll just show a clip because we are running out of time. Okay. Right. Share the screen.
Wake up! Down, boy! Good boy! Good boy! Stay! Good boy! What's that? Fix! 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 Go fix! Seize them! Good boy! Walkers! Walkers!
Now that film I did have a small team working on that with me. So that was probably the first time I had to work out how to give in-betweens to people.
Yeah.
There was only a couple of people who worked on it. I did most of it myself, but there were a couple. So that was probably the first time I tried to use help on that.
Es muy interesante en Britannia la anécdota, la historia, ¿no? Como realmente eso de llegar al núcleo de la situación, y es un cortometraje muy crítico, ¿no? Que también creo que habla de una sociedad, de un momento donde esto de que el Reino Unido ya no... Esta frase de que siempre amanece en algún lugar en el Reino Unido, en el mundo, o a medida que ha pasado el tiempo, cómo se ha ido cambiando, ¿no? Y Britannia es muy crítico de eso, de esa situación política o geopolítica. Es muy interesante verlo, sobre todo para alguien que no es del Reino Unido. Bueno, nosotros en Argentina tenemos nuestra historia compartida con el Reino Unido en muchas situaciones, pero es un corto muy, muy interesante, muy crítico.
And very appropriate for the moment.
Sure. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So what I thought I'd show you now is just some adverts, because one of the things that also comes out of, you know, when you get commissions is people see your work and then you get commercial work. So we got a couple of accounts. We got an account for Charmin toilet paper. We only get really good accounts like toilet paper and cat food. But we did the Charmin toilet paper adverts for 13 years. So it's quite a long time to keep one account. And we did them for, I don't think we did them for Argentina, but we did them for Mexico, Canada, America, Germany. It was quite, and they were all different, you know, so because the sense of humor in those countries was all different. So we couldn't just dub them. They all had to be completely different because of, like we were saying before, culturally completely different. And so that meant that we were in a really good position to bring like a lot of work experience people on from colleges, because both Les and I are teachers and love to teach. So it was a great opportunity to be able to bring more people in from college, from, you know, graduates, because we had quite a big team. We needed quite a few people. So, you know, so when we were busy, we probably had about 50 people, you know, working for us, because we were working on multiple ads sometimes at the same time. So you can imagine, I was like, oh my God, because the way it works with commercials is I was the director. So, and everybody else is invisible. You know, it's everything is me. I'm the director. So everything is my responsibility. But of course, you've got this massive team doing the work. And so you really have to be on top of everything, because you then go into meetings with them commenting on something. If they're not happy with something, you have to defend it or say why you did it that way and why you. So it's very stressful, you know, because you do have to be on top of everything. And if things don't go well, you still have to defend it, you know, even if you're thinking, oh my God, why did we do that? You can't say that to the client, you know. So a lot of the time is, you know, being a director is completely different to being an animator. Being a director is being a manager and being able, an artistic manager, you know, making sure that everybody's doing the right thing at the right time and things go together, that things match, that they're done exactly how you ask them to be done, and that it looks terrific. And if it doesn't, then you've got to do it again. But have you got the time to do it again? Maybe, you know, so it's all problem solving all the time, just problem solving, which I love. You know, I really, really do enjoy directing. Where maybe it's nicer to direct when there's less pressure, because then you can be a bit more creative and you can bring a bit more teaching into your directing. But generally, I really enjoy working with a team. It's great, especially if you've got a really nice team. It's a lovely experience.
Supongo que sí, ¿no? El hecho de trabajar como directora trae esas otras responsabilidades, pero es una experiencia totalmente distinta, de acuerdo a lo que nos estás comentando. Me quedé pensando sobre lo que dijiste, que sos también docente. No sabía eso.
Yeah, no, I've when I as soon as I left college in Middlesex, the next year I went back as a teacher for a short amount of time. And I was just going in one day a week to teach animation, because they started then to bring more animation into the course. And then I got a job in Wales teaching. And at one point I was the course leader of Newport College for, I think, 2 years. And that nearly killed me, because I'm not an academic, you know, I'm not, I enjoy teaching and, you know, practical things, but I don't enjoy the bureaucracy of education. And Les also is from education, and he ran the live action, he ran the whole film school in Newport. So he was the head of live action and animation. And so now we do quite a bit of teaching, just masterclasses and short workshops, because then you can go in, teach, and then leave, and you don't have any of the bureaucracy. It's perfect.
That's true.
You don't have a pigeonhole with messages about meetings. So
yeah, and deadlines about, you know, you have to, but yeah, all the teaching stuff, that's so
all
annoying.
the teaching. So I'll just show you 3 adverts, just 3 different adverts. So I'll show you the first. This was actually the first ad that we ever made. It was for some sweets called Nips, and this literally was the first ad that I made in my bedroom. And we hired in a photocopier, and Les did the colouring, and I did the animation. So I'll just share the screen. Hang on a minute. Share and full.
Miss Jones.
Oh,
Caramel nips. Rich.
sorry, it's not playing. Hang on a minute. Escape. Let's try again.
Miss Jones.
I'm sorry, it's not playing. That's annoying. Let me just make sure I haven't got anything else open. No. Hang on a minute, let me just try doing it this way. Sorry about this.
Don't worry.
Typically, when I tried this earlier, it all worked, of course.
Of course. Yeah.
Let's
Don't
just
worry
see if
about
this.
this. This is the thing that happens when you go live, you know, so.
Yeah. You can cut this out afterwards. Oh no, you can't. Just
Don't worry.
there we are. Let's see if that works.
Miss Jones. Caramel nips. Rich. Velvety. Long lasting. Had enough? Have a nips.
There we are. So that was that one. I'll just convert these other 2 are the similar things, so I'll just convert those. But yeah, that that was for toffee, and they sent over a whole box of toffees, you know, all these boxes, and I was eating them. But actually at the time I was expecting our child, Paloma, Spanish name. And when I had my blood test, they said, oh my God, we've never seen anybody with so much sugar in their blood.
Wow,
So
diabetes.
I know. So they said, whatever you're doing, stop it. And I said, but they're free sweets. So I had to stop eating them because I ate the whole box.
I wonder if that was the deal too with the toilet paper company. Do they give you
No,
samples
we didn't
or
get
anything?
any. We got no free
Oh.
toilet paper. No.
Too bad.
So this is cat food. This is we created some different adverts for Whiskas cat food in America, and they were good fun to do, and all painstakingly done. But I'll share the screen, and you can have a look, and hopefully this will play.
That must be a fascinating article.
You think?
Come on, Marvin, I'm starving. Do something.
Okay, Chuck. Excuse me?
Oh, you are a cutie.
Nice job, Marv.
Hey, thanks, Chuck.
Out of my way. It's time to feed the kitties. Anybody hungry?
I am.
Cats know what they want. Whiskas. All that variety, all that taste.
Whiskas.
Gotcha.
What cats want.
So we did quite a lot of those, and I went over to a meeting once to Whiskas, to the headquarters, to meet all the Whiskas people, and there were all these cats sitting around the board. No, they weren't cats; they were real people. No, but there was this one chap. They all had these very, very important titles, but one of them, he was called, I can't remember exactly what he called himself, but it was and I said, so what do you actually do? And he was the cat food taster. He tasted the cat food.
So it is a job, really.
It's a real job. Yes. And then I'll show you the last one. I'll show you is one of the shamans. So we did the shamans for ages. So with the shamans, we started off and did all of the graphics as well, because they launched it in Britain. So we did all of the posters. This is where my graphic design came in handy. So I was able to do the posters, and we did all like flyers through people's doors, all that stuff you throw away. We did that. Yeah, and designed, did all the designs and designed little bears and a book, and quite a lot of things came out of it.
So it's like you developed the IP, right?
Yes, yeah. So I'll just share the screen here, play, and
Nothing is more comfortable than Charmin Comfort. It's the most cushiony soft toilet paper there is. Charmin.
That was one of the British ones, one of the earlier ones that we did. But yeah, no, it was stressful, but it was really lovely working with such a talented group of people. And I think the other thing that I think I've tended to do is stick with, or if they're available, stick to the same people, because it's just really lovely to be able to work with talented people who understand the way you think and how you work, and it just makes a team situation much easier to do. But yeah, that's it. I think I'm coming to the end now because my time is up. What I thought maybe I could do is just finish off with the trailer for our new film, Affairs of the Art. Shall I do that?
Por supuesto. Para los que no saben, Affairs of the Art ha ganado recientemente un premio en Annecy.
Yes, we've got a few little awards so far, so that's nice. Right, I will show you the, where did I put it? Hang on a minute. Here it is. Okay. Right. And share the screen. Share. Yep, this full screen.
Speed, love, I want speed.
Here we go.
Oh, sorry, that's not playing either. I'll just have to convert that to, wait a minute. I'm using two different quick times. One's quick and one's slow. There we go.
So try using the real quick time, the quick time.
Yes. Yeah. Here we go. Full.
So Affairs of the Art is a co-production with the National Film Board, right?
Yes. Yeah.
How does that work? Do they come with the idea? Do you go with the idea?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I'll play it and then I'll tell you afterwards. Okay.
Sure.
Speed, love, I want speed.
Oh,
here we go.
It's too slow. That's not going to play.
Speed, love, I want speed.
Here we go.
I'll stop sharing.
Do you mind if I share it from YouTube?
Good idea. Yeah, no, that would be good. Yeah.
Let me see if I can do it. Okay. And let's see if we have any luck in that. Okay, you tell me how it plays.
There we go.
Speed, love, I want speed.
Here we go.
Oh, that's not playing either.
Oh dear God.
Oh, we missed it again. Art. I'm obsessed. All I ever wanted to do was to go to art school, be creative, have a career, but then I got pregnant with Colin. Another obsessive in the family. Ooh. The whole family's obsessed with something. My sister Beverly stuffed everything. Fanatical! She's big time now.
Don't I look fantastic?
And what have I done with my life? I could have gone to art school, been somebody, been a contender. I just gotta go for it. No more arsing about.
Okay. So did it play good?
Yeah, there was a little bit of a black band on it, but it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, that's the Zoom controllers. Sorry.
Ah, right. Yeah. Yeah, so we were making the film anyway, and then Michael Fukushima, the producer at the National Film Board, the English department, because there are two, there's the French department and the English department, he got in touch and said that would we be interested in doing a co-production? And of course, the National Film Board, we went, yes. How exciting. Yeah, so the plan was, so it wasn't a complete co-production as such, because they came on, we'd already started. So the idea was that we'd do some of the work, the post-production over there, sort of divide up the work a bit like that, because it was a bit hard. I couldn't go to Canada to do the animation. We couldn't really split the animation and do some there. So that seemed to be the best way of doing it. But then COVID came and so it all went.
Yeah.
We just did what we could do wherever we could do it. But no, it's terrific working with the National Film Board. So they're doing all the distribution now. And
mucho mejor, tal vez, esta forma donde me parece que es mucho mejor esta forma para uno como realizador, pienso, ¿no? Donde ok, yo tengo esta idea y de repente viene este coproductor, en vez de tener que negociar, tal vez, con el coproductor desde el principio, qué es lo que se va a hacer, ¿no? Hasta fue como un regalo imprevisto.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. No, we didn't sort of go looking at all. So it was, no, very lucky, really lucky. But yeah, so that's my life.
That's wonderful, you know. Es maravilloso. Bueno, la gente que está acá en el Zoom y la gente que está en YouTube, creo que la presentación de Joanna es increíble. Estamos fascinados desde el festival. Estoy recibiendo un montón de comentarios en YouTube. Hay muchas declaraciones de amor y de felicitaciones y de íconos y gritos de felicidad por la presentación, Joanna. Me gustaría dar un espacio a preguntas. Me gustaría dar un espacio para intercambiar preguntas con los asistentes, ¿sí? Tanto acá desde el Zoom como desde el YouTube. Los que están participando en el Zoom tienen una opción para hacer preguntas, que creo que está habilitada. Preguntan acá, ¿cómo trabajaron en la última película? ¿Dibujo digital o siguen dibujando a mano sobre papel, supongo, ¿no?
Yes, well, I started animating on TV Paint. So I thought what I wanted to do was to do a completely digital film, but have it look, but the end result looked like it was hand drawn. That's what I wanted. But when I started animating, I'd animated for about 6 months on TV Paint, but I just found that my animation went really stiff, and I couldn't get the right line as well. I think TV Paint, animating on TV Paint is fantastic when you're just doing animation. You're just doing animation, and then it gets cleaned up into a particular style afterwards. But when I animate, that's my final line as well. It's my final artwork. When I don't go over it again. If it's somebody else's animation, I go over it. But if it's my drawings, that's the final line. So I was looking for a pencil on TV Paint that would be as lovely as pencil on paper, and I couldn't find it. We developed lots of different. I work with TV Paint, the people, and we're trying to develop brushes, but it just didn't work out. So in the end, what I ended up doing was drawing on paper. I have some here. This is a sequence. So just done on animation paper in the regular way. Oh, hang on, there's a couple here. This is when she's painting herself.
That's so nice.
I can't really see, but and then we scan that into the computer. Then that got taken into TV Paint, and we colored in TV Paint. So it went into TV Paint and then colored and texture put on it and stuff. And then we then took it into After Effects, and it was basically finished and exported from After Effects. And yeah. And so
maravilloso, realmente, como en este momento en que, bueno, vos tenés a tu disposición en este momento cualquier tipo de tecnología para trabajar, pero es una decisión estética que supongo también tiene que tener no solo mucho con el acabado final, sino también con el goce, ¿no? Con el goce de hacer la animación, de realizar ese dibujo, el tocar el papel.
I think that's right. When I was working on TV Paint, I do love computers, and so I enjoyed working on the Cintiq and all of the options, and I loved all of that. But it made me realize how much I really, really enjoy the simplicity of a pencil on paper. It's like just direct from your brain to your hand. And you don't have lots of options. It's just the pencil, and I find it much more liberating to animate without having to make constant choices about the thickness of the line, all of those things that you have to consciously think about. I think for me, it's very important that I go into a zone where I drift away and I'm in another world and I animate, and it's just intuitive. And I found that I couldn't be intuitive on the working in the computer. Now I know, because I work with people much younger than myself who have only worked digitally, and for them it's intuitive working digitally. But I think because I've already come from one way of working into another, I'm always comparing, and then it's, you're right. It made me realize that you're not just making a film for the end result. It's a long period of time that you're doing and animating. And I think it's really important to be happy doing the process, and I think the process is as important as the final outcome. So I decided to carry on drawing on paper. I felt a little bit old-fashioned and I was going back in time, but hey,
Well, yeah.
Who cares?
Who cares? Absolutely. Okay, there's people are saying, Isabel here at Zoom is saying, great, beautiful. That's not a question, Isabel. Very good. Sergio pregunta, Joanna, ¿sentís que de alguna manera tu estilo ha contagiado a los artistas que están emergiendo en cuanto a volver a las fuentes, al lápiz, al papel?
I don't know, Sergio. I can't see it myself. No. when I look at I look at a lot of films, you know, in juries and things like that. I suppose I see more the influence of digital art. You know, I see a lot of digital colors that you've never seen before that suddenly are coming out, a digital line, you know, so I don't feel that, you know, that hand-drawn feel is there particularly, unless it is hand-drawn. But so many people are working digitally that I think it does look different. I have noticed that while I've gone into colleges recently and been teaching, that there have been quite a few students who are drawing on paper again, you know, who feel that it's new, you know, to reject doing it digitally and to drawing on paper. But then it depends what colleges you go to, because different colleges still encourage experimentation and using whatever media. So it really depends where you go to college, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Patricia from our YouTube pregunta. Patricia says, "Thanks, Joanna, you're such an inspiration. Thank you so much for your dazzling art and sensibility. Would you have any specific tips for animators who are starting to animate and find their own voice?"
That's a big question. I suppose the thing that you need to embrace is what you've got that I never had is the internet, you know, and being able to share your ideas and your animation with whoever will watch it, you know, which is amazing, that I never had. So maybe just keep everything small, you know, think small, don't think huge, think small and manageable, because you know, you see little tiny things, little GIFs online that get shared and people love, and it's just very, very small. So maybe don't be over ambitious and think you've got to do everything all at once with beautiful. People are looking for like something that's either going to make them laugh or go ooh, or that's surprising and interesting to watch. So, and maybe think as well about your strengths and what you can do to, you know, show what you can do, and not try and copy other people, and just do what you do. People are always looking for originality and an original idea, and not things that have been copied. So, you know, just and bring it from your experience. Think about your own life and your own experience, because nobody's had your life, and I'm sure people will be fascinated to find out things about you as a person. So maybe, yeah, keep it personal, keep it small and well observed.
That's very nice to say. Ok, tenemos las dos últimas preguntas porque lastimosamente tenemos que cortar y porque Joanna tiene que seguir con su vida, pero nos gustaría seguir ahí hablando con ella. Bueno, una de las últimas preguntas. Joanna, muchísimas gracias por compartir tu arte y tu experiencia. Una pregunta, ¿cómo te llevas con la dimensión sonora en tus obras? ¿Es algo en lo que pensás y creás desde el comienzo del proceso o te centrás más en el dibujo y la animación y el sonido lo trabajás con otras personas?
Well, the sound. Well, I think the way we work is do the storyboard, and then we do what's called an animatic. I don't know if you're all animators or not, but I'm going to speak to you as if you don't know. But so an animatic is like a timed storyboard. So it's the images, and it's on the screen for as long as you want your film to be. So it's like the film, but static with just the shots. And at that point, you put the sound on so that you're already starting to get a feeling for the sound and the sound effects. And so the animatic that we did had all of the sound on it, the rough sound, and the sort of music that we wanted. So it becomes a blueprint for what you're trying to achieve. You know, these are the effects that you want, and these are the sort of music that you want. And for instance, like I would want a particular sound effect, and I would quickly do it on my phone, you know, by making a sound effect and putting it on, thinking, but then when the sound gets done later, but I want that, you know, I want that sort of sound, but recorded properly, you know. So just trying to keep it as energetic and as experimental as you can until you got to stop and then say, right, now let's do it clean and proper. So the sound is very much always there, and Les normally does the sound on all of the films, so it's something that's very much in our minds. This time, because of the our co-production with Canada, Olivier Calvert did it, who's a sound designer who works with the National Film Board, so he did the sound design. So we gave him our animatic with all our sound on it, what we want, and then he did his version of that. So that's how it worked. So, and also with the voices, doing lip sync, that's another conundrum. So normally what I do is I do the voices roughly, do the lips roughly, and then when we record the final people, I'll change the lips to match, or very often my lip sync's so bad anyway, it doesn't matter.
Bien, gracias. Y tenemos la última pregunta de nuestra amiga Pepina de YouTube, que todos sabemos quién sos, Pepina, no te escondas debajo de ese nick. Cuando eras joven, dice Pepina, cuando eras joven te gustaba reflejar en tus dibujos a mujeres maduras. ¿Cómo ves tus dibujos de juventud ahora y cómo crees que ha cambiado, si cambió?
Gosh, I don't really know. I think my drawing has changed, you know, because I've become much more interested in drawing. I'm more critical and more. I prefer to challenge myself with my animation. So I think my drawings have become more sophisticated and more intricate. Like Girls' Night Out was very simple and very just me making it up as I went along. You know, I was just discovering animation, and you can see that in the film. But now I understand animation, and I really try and complicate the animation and make the animation as interesting as I possibly can for me. But I think in terms of character, they've more or less stayed the same, except like because we've done 4 films with the same character, with this last film, Beryl has changed. I think she stayed the same age, actually. You know, so she's still the same sort of middle-aged woman, and I think the characters are still more or less the same. But I think what we've tried to do is just to make them more layered and more interesting. And in this last film, we've brought in her family so that you can see her more facets about her character, because you know what it's like when you meet somebody and you think you know them, and then you meet their parents or you meet their sisters and you go, I get it now, you know. So it's sort of, it helps piece together, you know, somebody's character when you see their family. So yeah, so I think generally
the son and the husband, it's like the family is all right. Yeah, I know. I know these people.
So everything's become a little bit more complex. However, when I look at Girls' Night Out, I'm sad that I've lost that lack of knowledge. You know, there's something about doing your first of anything that's so wonderful, that because you've got no fear, you don't know what you're doing, so you're not worried about doing it wrong because you're just doing it. And I think the more experienced you become, the harder it is to not be fearful and not to be worried about what you do. And so that's not a drawing thing or a character thing. That's your spirit, I suppose. I wish I had that youthful spirit of, yeah, who cares? But, so that's my task now, to become that person.
Good. Ok, muchísimas gracias, Joanna. La verdad es que como dije antes, tuviste no solo la gentileza de compartir este tiempo con nosotros, también has trabajado en el jurado arduamente, y ha sido un placer para mí, y supongo que para todo el resto que está viendo esta transmisión, poder compartir este momento contigo. Lamentamos terriblemente que estés allá, separada por un gran océano, pero yo creo que vamos a poder encontrar la posibilidad, la forma de que esto se repita, y ya presencialmente. Es un placer haberte tenido en este festival.
Well, thank you, Alejandro, for inviting me, and this has been lovely. And thank you to Evangelina for translating. And yeah, thank you to the whole team, the ANIMA team, for a great festival.
Muchísimas gracias, y continuamos entonces con las próximas charlas del festival. Damos por cerrada entonces esta edición de Conozca al Jurado. Muchas, muchas gracias. Un gran placer.
Adiós. Besos.
Hold on. Okay.